Now, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the two primary reasons that Judaism did not accept Yeshua as the Messiah, because they expected that when the Messiah come, he would reveal the inner dimension of the Torah, he would teach it, and people would learn from the Messiah, and they would do what he was teaching. Now, whether you realize it or not, the Messiah came teaching Torah. When the two men were on the road to Emmaus, and this man appeared on the road with them, and they began to talk, and he was saying, well, what's going on? He says, well, haven't you heard? Hadn't you been around? We thought that this one who was the Redeemer of Israel, and he was crucified, and now we get a report this morning that his body's missing, and people are saying he's resurrected, and boy, we just don't know what's going on. And then it says that the Messiah began to explain to them from Moses and from the prophets and from the Psalms. In other words, from Torah, from the prophets, and from the different writings, that it should behoove Messiah to suffer. And he went into the house, he broke bread, and when he broke bread, they realized who he was, and he disappeared. And they said, didn't our heart burn within us when he was teaching? The Messiah came revealing what the Torah really teaches about. And Judaism expected that when that happened, that the followers who hailed this man as Messiah would do that. They would follow suit. They would obey the commands of the Torah. Guess what? One of the main reasons that even to this day they do not accept him as Messiah is because we say, by and large, that's dead, obsolete, done away with. Now, I am not saying, and you hear me clearly now, I am not saying that we are saved by do's and don'ts. That's not what I'm saying. We are saved by the blood of Messiah, end of story. But I am saying that when we look at the Scripture, the prophets, and the law, we are supposed to see Messiah. And in fact, it describes how we're supposed to live. That's what it's about. But because we say it's dead and we are free, we're led by the Spirit. Well, let me ask you something. Is the Spirit of truth going to lead you into something that contradicts the truth? Think about that. And we've never seen, by and large, ladies and gentlemen, and there's reasons for this, but we've never seen ourselves as Israel. We've always seen ourselves as the church, and they're over there. But the Bible, I hope I've plainly shown you that the Bible teaches that you, I, everybody in this building who believes in the Messiah, who's professed faith in him, is by faith. Not because of who your mother or your father was, but by faith. Not because of bloodlines. The only blood that matters anymore is the blood that flowed down that tree 2,000 years ago. That's the only blood that matters. All right, but here is my point. I said all of that to say this. What in the world does that have to do with prophecy, Bill? It's because the fullness of the Gentiles has come. And you know what that means? The blindness in part is about to dissipate. Now, blindness in part has happened to Israel. We've always interpreted that, and I agree with this, that what that means is the Jews do not understand that Yeshua is the Messiah. Agreed. But if it can be applied, if Scriptures can be applied in at least two different ways, and if we've established that you and I, through faith in Messiah, have become part of Israel, then is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, that that not only is referring to the Jews who do not discern the Messiah, being Yeshua, is it also possible that we have been partially blind to some of the truth? And so, if that's the case, then that partial blindness is now being lifted, which means we're living in the days when all Israel shall be saved. Do you know what that means? It means the Messiah is about to appear. That's what it means. We are living at the threshold of the greatest time in history. We are part of a restoration process that's underway. You've been praying for revival. I'm telling you, revival has been going on right under your nose, and you didn't even know it because you were looking in the wrong place.